The Namibian chapter of the Internet Society, in collaboration with UNESCO, the Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia, CRAN, and ICANN, recently hosted the 5th edition of the YouthCom program. The program is meant to strengthen youth skills on the governance of the Internet and prepare future leaders on how to face challenges and opportunities of the digital age. We are now joined by Nashilongo Gervasius, President of the Internet Society, Namibia chapter, to share some insight with us on how this training unfolded. A very good evening to you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Perhaps let's first start by telling us about the Internet Society Namibia chapter and what you do.
The Internet Society Namibia chapter is a chartered chapter of the Global Internet Society. We're here to serve the local members of the Internet Society who reside and work in Namibia. What we do is we work on programs related to the Internet development, but also on policies related to the Internet. Yes. We were chartered last year in November by the then Minister of ICT, the Honorable Chekero Toya, and we're here. We started working, yeah.
Well, you recently hosted a 2-day workshop on internet governance with young people.
Correct.
Can you tell us about that, and also what exactly is internet governance in general?
Internet governance is really the process, the multi-stakeholder process or approach on governing the internet. It has been found out, and I think this is a UN approach, that the internet, because it came as a disruptor to what already was established, or how society has been functioning, how the education systems have been functioning, how businesses were functioning. It came in as a disruptor, but also an enhancer of efficiency, for instance. So with the internet, it's difficult to sort of regulate it only. It needs a governance, and this governance has to be based on a multi-stakeholder approach, where you have business interest, where government has its own interest to protect the citizens, where human rights have their views, where users like me and you have our own views on how the internet should be governed, but also regulators have their sort of ways on what needs to be done. Telecommunications or companies called telcos also have their place, but also the internet service providers. So that is the internet governance process, and it's also based on mutually agreed ways on how it functions, because you would be surprised to have everybody having laws, just signing to say today we are moving on. We are moving on the different ways of operating, because the internet changes so fast. Things changes, like the operating systems that you're using today, it's possibly not the same that you were using yesterday. So with that, you need different people to mutually just agree sometimes, and not necessarily through laws. So that is the internet governance system. The YouthCom itself was really just a platform where we bring young people together. These were students of law, media, and IT from different high institutions in the country, 5 of them. There were 60 students that came together. What we have done was just to put them through to know how the internet ecosystem works, from the GTLDs to the CTLDs to roles of how everybody plays, and even where they are as users and how can they contribute in the future. Yes.
A large majority of youth in Namibia do not have access to internet, and that is a reality, either as a result of expensive data costs or a lack of infrastructure. How much of a burden is this situation against your noble initiatives?
Really, that's why we are here as a chapter, to sort of see, because we cannot leave everything to the hands of government. And telcos also aren't able to go to everywhere else. We have had numerous times to say they are not able to go to places that are not viable. So as a chapter of multi-stakeholder members from different industry, we come together and we try to find solutions. The Global Office, for instance, the Global Internet Society has what is called community networks, which is sort of an initiative try to connect the unconnected. Because you will find that, for instance, you will have one telecommunications or Powercom, for instance, will go to an area like Utsumkwe, but it doesn't go to all the pockets of you know, peripheries out of town. So then community networks, for instance, will go out to connect the last piece, and that is not connected. So issues of accessibility, affordability, and availability of internet is quite common at global level. I think it's only developing countries that that have full connectivities, which is only fair. And as a country, we obviously are battling other issues, but obviously internet has become very core to the society, and we are also only here to help, and perhaps at chapter level to find alternative, to work and collaborate with our partners, with the ministry. We work very closely with the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, but also every other partner that is available related on issues of internet.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And that was Nashilongo Gervasius, President of the Internet Society's Namibian chapter.